Alright, hello. Well, we got the gap that we wanted. That's big. We are pushing into highs now. Um, we'll see what we do here. I'm unsure. Just following our pathing on SPY still off of the failure to push below and hold, right?
Shortly
So we talked
expecting
about
comments from ECB's lane.
rotation back above, and then recovery of our upper balance here. This is what we expected yesterday, was that sideways chop, just consolidation above our bound low for that rotation up to retest highs. We're going to have to see if we immediately are able to push above and hold and look for that balance high hold, or if we're going to need to rotate back down to retest this before we continue onwards. I am unsure which way we want to go about this, but I'd expect one of these two outcomes. So we'll see. I would assume today which way we want to do this, but regardless, I would say that we should know pretty soon. This rally should retest these highs. I would say probably in the next hour. Looks like the offer sitting at 905 on ES. I would assume we're heading to there. We'll see, but yeah, I would say we're just heading up into these highs, and then we'll see if the sell side steps in to rotate us back down to retest these the balance low before we can continue onwards, or if we're going to be able to immediately rotate up off of it and then continue on our way. I don't know, but this was a pretty obvious rotation in the sense of where we were building the day before and then where we were holding yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. And just structurally, it made sense for that to be our low, and then for us to rotate up to this. We are basically at ADR, though. That's the biggest issue here. Is that like our full rotation is complete, which is why I'm kind of saying that I think within the next hour, probably not even, what we should know if this is going to be our local high that we're going to then have to like rotate back, down into, and then figure out if we're going to then build above, or if we're going to be able to flip this and then continue on our merry way and trend for the rest of the day, which would be great. I'd love that for us. So we'll see. I'd love for us to be able to take out that VPOC that we have up here. But that's a lot of work. So, I don't know, let's just be patient and let's see what they do. Love to see a pullback for a continuation. But if they don't offer it, that's okay. We'll just play next 15-minute candle and play a continuation off of POC. Something like that, right? There's always a setup. It's no big deal.
The Kremlin say that they're waiting for an analysis of the US-Ukraine talks, according to Interfax.
Netflix bought Warner Brothers. Lord. So again, offer is sitting at 905. Kind of watching to see what we do into that. I'm gonna guess that this will be our local high as we push into here. A little bit, but we'll see. New 15s have opened, opening above our value edge here. Let's see how they interact. Okay.
The S&P 500 now up 0.55%. The Nasdaq up 0.7%. The Dow up 0.5%.
Watching this 820, 840 area, or 830 area on NQ as we push back, watching to see if we can find a bid here for continuation back up. Now that we were pulling back into POC and this node here on NQ. We potentially have one more leg down, but this is our first sign, first place where we could look for a bit of a bullish pop after this pullback from our target at 905 offer that we saw flick on ES. Just watching this again as our pivot, bearish underneath like this. Until then, just looking to see if we find our bid here. Needs to flip 60 for a continuation. This Russell cell is a little rough, but we're holding our low here so far on NQ where we need to. I'm just looking at this as a look to try to recover value, right? We've pushed up into our highs, retesting our low now. Now we need to flip our 60 and build if we're going to continue on our way from our look below, right? Testing into our value high now, held our value low. This is my first risk off from our 30. And now I watch to see if we can build above 60. If we can do that, then we look for new highs.
Gold rises 1%, silver 3%.
Offer sitting at 60. POC attempting to shift up here on NQ. Just waiting to see what happens. 60s offer held so far. Coming back down to our low. Same pivot holding as before, but we have to watch for offer now at 45. Gonna look something like that if we do fall. This pivot is holding still. I'm not bearish until we flip below, like I said. But if we can't get over 60, then we'll look for seller to move down, and then we'll look for seller to move down again. Until then, though, this is just bottom of balance. Bottom of balance holding, B15's opening, retesting our edge here. Because POC is flipping, right, we expect our offer to be into this edge if it's going to hold a lower high for sell side to continue onwards. If it doesn't, right, like it's just going to do another rotation up. We're bullish above 60s. Until then, right, like your risk off is into here, your risk on is into here, and you expect rotations in between until we flip this and can hold it as offer below 20. But look for your seller to be sitting here into this POC retest and value low retest. Right? This is where you're watching. So this is your great first risk off if you are playing this. And then again, we're only looking for continuation on a step above 60 and continuation and hold. Full rotation on Russell. RTY leading, pushing up. NQ into 60s, another rotation here. See if we can flip it. Why didn't I connect this? Potential 3 bars on both 15 minutes if we can flip these pivots above, right? We held where we needed to, which is just POC of our previous candles, so there's nothing to really write home about yet. We're just into our major supply above. 60 still holding on NQ, and ES still holding our 905 where our original offer was spotted. So it's just balance between these two until we can actually flip above, which is why it's been our risk off. There's not much else here until we show that interest above, right? Like that is what it is. Until we see that higher low actually be able to hold here and then flip above 60s, so I'm not looking for that secondary. You can try holding for the low if you have a runner, but if we continue to show no interest above and no interest below, I'd expect that eventually, if this low continues to hold, that we will pop that 60 on the higher time frame and then continue upwards, right? This will just be consolidation, and you'll be holding through trap for the next 40 minutes. But the overall trend is up, so I would assume that after a consolidation that we would continue on our merry way, but we have to wait it out. Like I said, like the seller is like pretty clear at 60, just like this buyer at 30 is pretty clear. Same thing on ES, 905s. Ours, yeah, 905s. But like on the 15, right? We're holding our mother bar, which is our one-sided upside candle, right? Very big push off of a hold of our previous buyer down here. Rotation up, retesting our POC. Now just maintaining with a very clear sell and a POC into our highs, and then so we're just like building in this range, right? But we need to see this flip, and we need to see this buyer become supportive, or it's just going to continue to rotate. And we're going to be looking for an outlier to determine directionality. What do I mean by an outlier? Well, I mean that this is our range. We've already identified that as our range on the last rotation. We're going to be watching to see if sell side fails on the look below, and then rotates us back in, giving us a catalyst or fuel from offside sellers off of a failure to rotate us down, or a push for new highs, or same thing at the highs. We'll be looking for a failure above 60, and then a reoffer, and then a rotation through to give us our leg down, right? We need some outlier because nothing has changed right now. We know that our 20 to 30 is holding below. We know our 60 is holding above. So I need to see something new, or we should expect more of the same. That's basically it. So until proven otherwise, I'm still just watching this as a rotational range, and I'm going to be looking for our pattern of where we're looking for sell side to be for that lower high, to be put in if they're going to be in control. If they fail, right, we just expect this rotation to occur again. So even with this rotation down, we can still look for that offer here. And if sell side's serious, it'll be into that 45, and then we'll continue downward. Does that mean that you can't try this edge as a buy? No, that just means that your first risk off is here. That's all I'm saying. Just be ready for it. That's literally it. You have 2 risk offs from this edge at 30 to 20, 45 and 60. Into our low here on NQ, Russell retesting our previous highs is supportive. ES back down to the lows of our range. We'll watch to see if we continue to rotate balance. We would love to see NQ recover 30, or this will be where we offer and then we look down for that continuation. So just keep in mind, this is the low of our pivot on NQ, and we're watching to see how Russell reacts here as we push into previous highs. Is this now supportive, and can we step back up? Or is this going to offer and then rotate our previous range? Into our 30 now, see if sell side sits here, or if we can flip it and then get a secondary buyer to step in. They're trying to absorb into this 20, but it's a little early. $30 offer holding so far. We're testing lows. NQ leading down, but ES still holding range. RTY still holding our highs. This offer below has to be so clear, or it's going to be the fake out that I talked about, where we're trapping liquidity for our new highs. So I'm really paying attention to our pivot here. New 15's opening, 10 seconds. Offer holding so far off our 30, and then our reoffer at 20, pushing below on the open of new 15. Just watching to see how far we can go with this. Taking one off of our 20 flip, and then looking to see if we get the full rotation done into target. I feel like we're going to have retest before we actually test low, but we'll see. It'll be dependent on if Russell needs it or not on our edge like we talked about. There's that little relief on Russell that should allow for secondary entry on NQ. We'll see what they do. We need to see how we interact into this edge reoffer. They'll look to try to take out that 30. We need to flip back below 20 and offer. Just following Russell's relief until we see that sell side step in again. It's not worth it. Offer sitting at 30 on NQ. Again, they were just going for that liquidity at 30. We need to see offer step below 20 and offer.
Says the best
Or we'll
producers
just
could
build
make
here.
a profit at $50 a barrel.
Watching Russell to see if we get a higher low on recovery. I think they retest it one more time. Russell's still holding. I'd like to see that offer slap them down at 20s off of the sweeper. But we'll see. We ideally now hold this as our offer, right? And then we continue downwards. Off of the failure, they just were taking out this liquidity here, and then sweeper below 20s for that continuation. I'm at 1 here at 75, but I think we go to 55. Just want to cover my stop out up high at 20 to 30.
I did just see some movement towards the downside in Bitcoin. No news to back the movement up. Of course, if there isn't news, we'll relay that to you.
Again, my next risk off is 55. So we push down into that. And then we'll look for, from this 55, a offer of this as our pivot, and then a potential rotation down. what we're going to be watching for is a push into
And that
this
concludes comments from
720.
US Energy
If we
Secretary Chris
hold
Wright
this,
speaking on Fox Business.
but I expect a bit of a bid here at 55, and then we'll see what we do. I think it's a great for risk off, and then we look for one more leg after we find a bit of a bounce here. Holding our pivot so far. Retesting our 55. See if we can flip it for that move down to
G7
720.
and European Union in talks to scrap all price cap on Russia. According to sources, G7 and the EU discussing imposing full ban on its accessing maritime services by Russia to disrupt all exports.
All right, pushing into target now. 720, 730 on our bearish pivot flip. Held our offer, rotating down. This is a great secondary leg. If we can flip below again, just like we just did, then I'll look for more. But until then, this is all I was really expecting, to be honest. So we'll see what happens now. ES into our pivot as well. Off of our hold from our 905 call out of that being the high. Now pulling back to our 30-second opening range, probably. We'll see. But this is target 720. Bid sitting there, 104 contracts on NQ at 721. See if they can flip it or what they do. I have one left. I'm actually closed here. We'll see if I miss out on a next move. Huge. There, you can watch me get stopped out and then enter back in. Again, I'm fully risked off here. I'm just waiting to see if we flip or not. XY, did you see that Martin got liquidated on his short portfolio? Uh, Capper. He's basically just like, hey, sucks, bud, to his followers. Uh, whatever this crap is. He just like woke up the next day and his portfolio was gone on his yeah. Well, yep. Or NVIDIA, you know, that small little company. Inverse head and shoulders. The video? I don't think so. If not, I mean, it's saved already on the internet. I can find someone else who posted. Here. Oh, spelling. Yeah, it looks like... I mean, that's still up, but the video is from his stream. But yeah, exactly. We're just balanced at target here for at our 20s. Just waiting to see what happens. So, I'm gonna full screen just so you can understand how I came up with this as our target. Do we see how POC shifted up at our 60? Do we see where POC was before? POC is this dotted yellow line. Yeah, that's literally it. So when we see failures to get above and hold, I'm just looking for a reversion back down. That's all. It's literally it. And then it's just a matter of how do we get there, right? Is downtrend persisting? Are we holding our pivots from previous buyers to now sellers? Okay, well then we'll head down, right? So now that we're back to POC here, we have to watch to see what's going to happen. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting this to be our pivot at 20. So if we look below, I'd love to see our offer hold for this rotation down to 81, just like we did on the last attempt. But if we can hold this, then we can look and rotate back up to our 83, right? But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm closed. We're just going to be balanced here for a bit. if we can flip below, like I said, I'll look for this rotation down to 81. But I just don't have a good enough trade planned out other than just this follow through from our failure at 60s with the POC shift and sell side taking advantage. I mean, that was very good. Other than that, now we just wait. If we get the flip and hold, then we can play this as our risk and then look for that continuation down, but I just gotta wait it out. I wish I had a runner, but I don't. And I wasn't really willing to risk, 60 points here for a potential big ol' bounce at our 20. Just didn't make sense. Say just Russell into our 30-second opening range. Yes, into our 30-second opening range as well, basically. Just watching to see how we build. Again, I'm flat. Just waiting. Offer sitting at 40 on NQ. They're trying to absorb into that. Bid is still here at this 20. No change. I am so cold. It is insane. You walk outside and start sweating? No, I was going to, and then I died. So I haven't had a chance. But I'll probably put up, like the tape and plastic thing that they have, where you like use a blow dryer to seal it. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Flag retest. What is that? On RTY? Oh, yeah. I think that's good. Makes sense to me. See what we do now that we've looked below. Can we hold the offer, or can we build above? All these guys are pretty absorbed into that 40. So this is Or we'll start to look to see if that offer flips. Into our pivot on re-off. See if we can hold. This is ES into 30-second opening range.
Bulgaria says that a drone hit oil tanker Kairos a mile off its coast.
into our 20. See if offer holds 2030 or if we flip. Just back to our buy side, our sell side target. We're watching to see if this flips or not. Watching for Russell to lose momentum first before we look for anything. Yes, just full rotation from our 30-second opening range back up to our pivot. Not looking for anything until we can flip above. It's a retest of POC from our previous candle. If Russell can't retrace and build above our sweep that we saw for this push down, I do not expect anything new. I just expect this to be an offer, and then we look for the rotation below, and then we look for the continuation down for our sell side continuation. That's really all there is. I did not mean to delete it though. So we'll see. $20 to $30 holdings so far. I'll believe in the bid when Russell is back above 30-second opening range. Until then, it looks awful. So we basically have done the exact same thing that we did on the last look below. We offered our 10s, and then we rotated down into this low where liquidity is resting. But I will wait for the retest of our 20 to 30 as supportive for that rotation up like we did on the last look, right? Where we flipped our pivot to supportive. I'm just going to wait for that, with Russell also showing that same flip. Or I will just expect that this will be garbage. Right, I want to see a very clear hold and then continuation. With Russell also showing the interest above, and ES showing the interest above. Like, I'm really not trying to play around my pivot. Just moving this over so that you can visualize what I'm seeing. Offer held it, bid held it, right? Just the flip. So I'm waiting to see what we do here. Wait, that also means that Netflix now owns Harry Potter. Because HBO is making that new Harry Potter series. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, of course. And it's only for the TV. It's not the movies. But yeah. Something. Worth? I mean, I don't know. If you read the books, they were all worth. If not, then I mean they're all mid. RTY and ES not being fooled. NQ just volatilely went back up to highs.
Just
No
keep in mind in 10
retest.
minutes time at 11:40
Again,
AM
like
Eastern
I'm just
time,
not sold
Trump
on
due
this
to be
area.
speaking live
I've
at the
just
World
I've
Cup
got nothing to
draw.
say.
We do have the live video in the calendar.
I told you
We'll
what I
put
need
it
to
out
see.
on the feed for those interested as well.
I need to see this go supportive. I need to see this go supportive. I need to see this go supportive and retest all at the same time for me to care, or it just feels like downside continuation to me. We've already gone over it. To me, this just looks like, oh, look above, take out these highs, and then re-offer our edge for a continuation down. So they've been doing this over and over again, where they just take out the sweeper, bait longs, and then re-offer our sell again, and then allow it to actually go through. They've been doing it all day.
We have posted the video on the feed for those interested.
There's no market correlation. Like, I'm just not looking for a reversal without it. We have no right side of V. It is just trend down. off of our flip of our pivot. Into target here on NQ. Next target, I should say. We'll get another opportunity with ES on the flip of our 30-second opening range if this holds. That'll lead down to 66. And then 57. We'll watch this reoffer.
Trump, on meeting with Canadian and Mexican leaders, says, "I might." So Trump is currently speaking on arriving at the FIFA draw in Washington. So this is ahead of the actual event.
I might what?
Trump says, "We'll also discuss trade with Mexico."
Meet with them? Is that what he meant?
Trump says he might meet with the president of Mexico at the FIFA meeting.
I'm just waiting. We hit our target here on NQ. Watching our interest into our 30-second opening range. Yeah, yes. I'm gonna post the FIFA stream, but so we've now fully done. I wouldn't say fully. We still have a little room, but we're retesting our gap up now on SPY after holding our highs, just following our pathing. I don't know if we're gonna need to do the full retrace. I'd love to see this secondary move. See, like the problem is if they just continue to do this where we do nothing actual movement wise without Globex, it's really frustrating for us. Because like you just have to have options positions really. But we'll see what happens because now this is our pullback that we wanted. As long as we're able to maintain this low, I'm still looking for new highs. Like I'm not lying to you there. So we'll see. Like nothing about our plan has failed. So we'll see what happens. But expecting a sell side resistance right into here made a ton of sense. It's just a balance play. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It's just balance. So we recovered our lower balance, we were rotated up into our val high, and now it's just we're retesting. I'd like to see a better pullback than this, but I am unsure. We'll see. I'm gonna guess that we're gonna need to come down a bit further, but I just don't know. I just don't know.
Treasury Secretary Besant says his call with China's Vice Premier He Lifeng was constructive. Treasury Secretary Besant says we reaffirmed the US commitment to engage with China.
New 15s have opened. Opening at POC of previous candle. Still holding our low at 51. Just back to our pivot here with POCs holding so far.
Canada's PM Carney is meeting with Mexico's President Sheinbaum now and will meet Trump next. According to the Prime Minister's office, Carney meets with Sheinbaum and Trump ahead of the FIFA event in DC. Trump says working with Canada and Mexico. Trump on ending wars says, I settled 8 and we have the 9th coming.
Huge.
He says, we will meet with Canada and Mexico. We're getting along very well.
Everyone knows about the Canada-Mexico war. I'm just waiting, guys. Trump's about to start speaking. There's nothing to do here, in my opinion.
Trump
Unless
says,
we're
"I have
gonna
a
just
meeting
continue
set up
downward,
after the
right?
event today.
I need to
We
see
will
a better
discuss
flip.
trade again on Canada and Mexico."
If I see something juicy, I'll talk about it. Until then, it's just trading back up to our pivot. I've already talked about what I want to see for upside. Nothing about that has changed. It's just back into our offer. If we can flip 30s and make it supportive, then we go up. Until then, that'll just be like where we look for reversions. Later, surf. Just into our reversion here at 30. See if we build above or if it's going to continue to hold as our seller. think that there's probably, just like we have paths here, there's going to be an attempt for a long here with our risk like this, the flip below tens. But I think that we get a bit of a better pullback. I'm hoping at least. We've got our look over 30s, but this is just VWAP, right? I just want to see us build here. If we can, we should be able to push to 55s. I mean, an initial size off of our flip of 30, but I'd like to be able to add. I don't know. We'll see. If not, it'll just be a quick scalp into 50, and then we'll look for a better pullback. Or I will, at least. Offer's just sitting at 50. Just into our 55 now. This is our ETH high as well as our reversion from our 30. Watching now what we do. I don't really think that there's anything here on ES or RTY yet. This is just like a vol play on NQ, just with us coming back up into our value here. I don't think anything's ready to go yet, but if we can build here, there's potentially a right side of V starting to build. We should know soon. New 15's open here in 5 seconds. Retesting our edge now off of our liquidity that we talked about that was into R50. Just full rotation back down. Let's see if we can build here at our 10 to 20. If we can, should be able to continue upwards. If we flip below 10s, I'll look for that as a offer point, trapping these guys here. Offer at 25. Trying to move down. Pushing into our 10. Again, just watching our 10 to 20. I don't want you to get confused. Like, I'm just watching down right now. This is ES retesting our 30-second opening range. If we re-offer 10s and we can't get above, this will flip. Again, trapping those guys. It's a super important test here, letting us know which way we want to go.
Microsoft shareholders vote to approve all of the company's proposals, including the election of 12 directors and the 2026 stock plan, according to Microsoft's AGM.
What's up, Club? Back to our 30 here, off of failure at our low. Watching to see if we put in a lower high or if we flip. It's just reversion back to a 30. God, I hate midday. This morning was really good. Got some really good trades. Now it's a little choppy while we wait. There's this stupid Trump FIFA thing, so the market's kind of at a standstill right now while we just oscillate our 30-second opening ranges, trying to choose a direction. If ES flips it, I'll be pretty bearish, but as of right now, there's not really much to do. Just holding our reversion zones is supportive on NQ and ES. And just reverting back up to VWAP. It's just kind of gross. There's very clearly someone trying to buy, but I just don't know if it's going to last or not. sucks because these areas are super important to pay attention to, but they're not great to trade around. This is our 15-minute VWAP, right? So like it's an incredibly important area to see if we're going to flip, right? All this is just a retest. Like I really like this visualization is really important. This is us coming back down to our 15-minute VWAP and retesting it right now as resistance on both ES and NQ. I am just really waiting to see if we can start to sustain above this 30, right? Which is our VWAP, this 30 to 40. Or if this is going to hold as resistance and then we're going to push below. So it's just a very choppy area. Remember, this is where we took profit on our short at the 720. Like this area to me makes a ton of sense to see how we build around, but that doesn't mean that it's great to actually want to trade it right now for scalps midday. It isn't. But our directionality should be pretty clear after we figure it out. Again, like we're just reverting to our VWAP, which is this purple line on both NQ and ES. And until we can figure out if we want to hold below or above, it's just going to be these looks below our first band and then rotations back up to that mid. I want to see if we can do a flip of this so that we can rotate back up to our high of our band and not just rotate to the low and then back to our mean, right? That's just a reversion trade to VWAP, which is why I keep talking about this area. I just need to see if this low is going to sustain so that we can actually get the flip, or if we're going to continue to fail and then do another leg down. It seems like we're missing opportunities, but there will be much bigger opportunities if we start to actually sustain below VWAP and hold this and then break down. It'll be a huge secondary leg. If that's not the case, right, then this will become a really great area to then build out a longer position, a long position for a rotation back up if we can actually start to recover this and we make these right side of V's where we're holding our POC as supportive and then we actually can sustain above. Right now,
Bitcoin down 3.7% to around $88,777.
Right now, every attempt to look above is just being absorbed, right? These buyers are just being absorbed above VWAP, and then we close below, and then we rotate down off of it. So until we see that shift, for me, this just becomes our target for any sort of scalp long. But until we can actually see it sustain above this purple line, this is just closing. Do we see this, right? Like, you guys see these buyers being absorbed above VWAP? I really want to make sure that it's just anything above is just being absorbed, and then we are rotating back down to the POC of the previous candle and retesting. So it's creating like a scalp environment that you can play in the little, micro rotations, but overall we haven't chosen a direction yet. That's all I'm trying to get at. I hope that's clear. Here, like I'll just delete everything so that I can show you. This is absorption. This is our buyer. I wait. So if sell side's serious, I'd expect our offer on NQ to be into this. Our 10 to 20, just like before. But I want you to just visualize it based off of footprint here. We're just back into our lower absorption on NQ. And we're watching to see if a offer steps in to try to defend this now, or rotations below and actual can hold, or if this is going to maintain and the seller that's sitting here into our value low to POC of our previous candle is going to not be able to hold. So I'd expect a bid to be here, but we're watching to see if then they offer into this and then we continue down from that or whatnot, right? Like that becomes your first target based off of where that is. Russell's still leading down, so there's nothing here yet for a sustained bid. ES just into our lows, nothing crazy. Again, it's just not a great market environment midday with Trump about to speak. I know it's just like absorbing here. It's just kind of gross. But I want you to be able to identify the areas of interest, right? Our two edges and where we need to be able to push above and actually see a sustained move, and where we should be looking for that secondary seller to step in if they're going to be anywhere. Being able to visualize stuff like that at least gives you a game plan. And then let's watch what they do as we push into it. Yeah, I mean that's just kind of obvious, right, Type? But like, what we need to do is, like, yes is the answer to that. Like, we should expect kind of garbage action until that flips, because we know that there's someone taking in size down here. But I'm watching to see if the offer is also shifting downwards with it, right? Because we can get a bit more clarification of what we want if the lower highs continue. So if we can figure out where we expect those lower highs to be, that's our first signs of that weakness and where we're then looking for, right? Because like if we know where the offer is shifting down, like we already know that this needs to flip and we need to hold it, right? But we can get an idea of how strong that weakness is by where these sellers are going to be located. Like if we can hold this and sustain, that's a really great first sign that that weakness is still there and where we should be expecting it. Because like if they're not there, we know that we're going to be doing a full rotation back up to the top of our range. That's the whole idea of what I'm talking about, like the premise. Will you be watching the step down via stacking a DOM, or a little bit of both? I watch both. I get a general idea of the zone in where I'm like looking for that seller to be located, right? Which is here. And then I'm watching to see how we interact in that area. And then if we can sweep. What I'm going to be watching for now is just like the sweep through, right? The desire to actually push through. So like this is a sweep to me, right? This action here, the very one-sided trading that's pushed us down that we then maintain as our offer. From this last test, like that kind of stuff is what I'm watching for. It's the same thing here, where like I'm watching this sweeper as our big tell. And now I'm just seeing how we interact here. Like I don't have an answer for you, right? Like we know that this is where they're absorbing. I don't know how messy it's going to be. What I want to see is RTY find a low, and then I want to see ES and NQ still sustain here, and then we figure out what we're going to do. Because all I know is that this is where this buyer is located. What happens in here isn't like a setup, right? It's an area of interest. That's the biggest issue, is like, what's my risk then? Like, what am I just gonna buy here? I guess I could, but like this is a huge area. So if I'm going to buy here, where am I putting my stop? So the only thing that I really see is like trying to play off of this as our risk, and then looking for like a continuation down that we can, you know, like I don't know, like if I know that an offer is potentially going to be here, then I'm interested in a potential look into this area and then a lower high to play and then use this as our risk. If not, then it's just like I can buy anywhere in here and we potentially go up, right? Because if this guy steps out of the way, then the buyers are screwed here. But if they sustain here, then it's like, okay, nothing's really changed. So I want to see if that offers here because it's a much smaller area of risk for me to play around 10 points, right? So I like that idea with the overall idea of this guy already being offsides above. That's kind of the general, my general idea when I play areas like this. It's like I want to find the area where I have the least amount of chance of being wrong, and like I know if this does flip of where we're headed, and then I can make up the difference for being stopped out into this immediately, right? Because the upside potential is larger than my downside risk for the risk for the short, right? So I can flip and still make my money back immediately because we know where we're headed if this doesn't hold. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like we're in a rotation. So if sell side is going to step down, I want to have my risk here for the reoffer to play this. But if this flips, then I know that we're headed up and I can immediately then play into this to make up the difference. That's all I'm really trying to get at. Because we know that there's a buyer down here. Right? So like I can just buy this, but like if this doesn't work out and we chop around here for an hour, is this a position that I want to be in where I have this much risk and it's a basically 1-to-1 risk to reward right now? Like not particularly. Not really trying to do anything in a slow market, but if we get the opportunity, then I'd love to play this down. Because again, like the whole premise is that we are failing on any look above VWAP, right? So our seller's in control, and these buyers are scuffed. They're screwed into these highs. So all I'm looking for is this offer now stepping down? And can we flip this and show that interest below? If that opportunity doesn't show its hand, like it is what it is, that's fine. That's okay. That also gives us great context. But like that's the only opportunity I really see personally. Because I don't want to be in a trade that's just this choppiness while we wait for a move, even if we know there's a buyer here, right? Like look how many reversion signals we're getting here in this area. Like there's someone trying to bid this. So you can play off of it, but the risk is just immense. So I'd rather just like sit on hands and wait to see if we get that seller to step in, or if we get a better opportunity on a look above and hold. So it's just kind of like my area of interest where I want to be keeping an eye out for a potential idea. Right? Like if we sustain here, we eat up. I would then want to see that offer step in here again and then show its hand on a look outside of this range, right? This being the range, this box here. So then we get a look above this range. We show to see if they're going to fail on the look above. We then see the look back in this range and then the rotation through it, right? Because this would be new liquidity in this box that we're currently trading in. So we'll see. So like this opportunity by trading into this area, like this at least gives you a first risk off into bottom of range here without any real downside. Like, is it a great trade yet? No, it's not. But it's 10 points while we wait on our edge. And if we flip the edge, then I expect us to then have another 20 points of upside to the top of our area where we absorbed previously. To me, just trading off that edge where we know we have an expected seller just feels a bit better than just, like, this is big. I don't know. I just don't know where to put my stop here, and I'm not willing to, you know, have 30 points of risk on. So just playing off of this edge just feels better because, like, again, like I can just take off first risk into this lower edge and then leave this as a runner, and then this trade all of a sudden is free with our downside intact while we wait. Does it need to fully play out? Do we need to break below? No, it doesn't need to do anything. We just are watching to see if we continue to sustain below POC of previous candle, right? For the 15-minute higher time frame idea. If we flip our 20s, like we've been talking about, like, okay, great. Then we'll look for that bid to sustain. We'll stop out off of our primary position, and then we can flip and then play the rotation on. Hopefully that's not too confusing. Again, like we know that someone's absorbing down here. If they step out of the way, okay, great. If we get stopped out, okay, that's fine. Right, like if this bids here and then we step over, I'm interested as well. They just need to figure it out. I just want to, like, it's and stuff like this, like I said, like you can find scalping opportunities without a need for a larger break and still be able to make money if you understand where your sellers are going to be located, right? Like again, like this can be first risk off if you're trading this top edge. We don't need a break of the range. We just need to be able to identify where that seller is located. Do you get me? Like I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles, but it's okay. The problem is just being patient enough to wait for us to get those entries, right? Like at no point has my opinion changed that this 710, 720 area is important. It's just slow because it's midday, and so we're being choppy around it. And so like no decision has been made. Doesn't mean the importance of the area has ceased to exist. Do I use hotkeys? I do not. But there's nothing wrong with it if it's something that you enjoy. I just click on the DOM, or I have limits placed 90% of the time. I've never used a hotkey in a day in my life. It would probably be good, but I feel like if I had hotkeys, I'd overtrade, personally. I've never really seen the purpose of a hotkey if I have a mouse. I guess that's like, because it does the same thing, right? Like, I don't know. I know traders who use hotkeys and are very happy with it. I'm taking off a little bit more risk as we push down into this. I don't know. My entire idea again is just understanding where liquidity is going to be and then trading our edges instead of trying to take a gamba on the other side, looking for something that doesn't exist yet, right? That's my entire premise in everything that I always talk about is what is known right now and can we trade around that known information? We know that someone's taking its size down here. Is it something that I can play around on the time frame that I want to? Not really, right? Could I buy an option and then maybe looking for a potential low here? Yeah, sure. But it's too much risk and I don't have a great idea of where I'd want to put my stop that meets the criteria for the amount I'm willing to lose. And so again, if I can find a 10-point area to play off of and then take risk off as we push down and make that trade free, I'm way more confident in taking that play than trying to do anything else. And so playing around this 10 to 20 just makes sense to me because I've already taken off risk. This trade is now free. Even if we popped here,
met with Trump
the
officials
trade
on Thursday,
is
according
good.
to Semaphore.
Remember, the overall idea is we know someone's taking in size here, but we're holding VWAP on the 15-minute as resistance, and we've absorbed all of these people above. So we have to wait this out, and I want to be in a position with the least amount of risk possible if we're going to continue, if we're just going to chop here and slowly make our way down, right? This can chop, 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 and slowly grind down, but my risk is only 10 points. Right, that's why I like this. And we know that someone's taking in size here, so I can take off, and then we can get more in. If we do end up flipping this and we do see that seller step in, then we can play around this area and it'll be more identified once we actually push down there and some new structure has been developed. But right now, all we have to do is play off of our 15-minute VWAP, our 15-minute POC to value low. Because nothing about our structure has invalidated that the seller is in control based off of our footprint structure of previous candle, right? In the open of this new one, where are we holding? POC of previous candle, right? We're holding our pivot, we're continuing that downtrend. So even though we know someone's taking size in here, we're still seeing that seller step down. Just like we talked about. Bid resting at 80 on NQ. I don't know. Stuff like this makes way more sense to me than just being yeah, let's buy the dip with 200 points of drawdown. I was right. That. I don't understand how people trade like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have the emotional endurance to hold a position like that. That just seems crazy. When we can get entries like this, where we're just holding our area and we just play it down and chop at our edge, to me that just is such a better trade. But who knows? Bid sitting at 75 now on NQ. I don't know. I feel like I walked through this entire thing, but maybe I didn't. Maybe you're still confused. Please ask questions. That's full target. Again, it feels very counterintuitive when we talk about areas like this, because you just want to buy. We have this very human emotional need to just want to buy the dip. And instead, you can just what's our overall trend on the day? Are we still holding our 15-minute to our POC to value low of our previous candle? Is there still a trend intact? Is there a clear reoffer point that we can play around? What's the risk on that position? Where would I flip? Right? These are the questions that we answered on the way down and where we were looking for that to be to execute, right? And that's given us a great opportunity with very minimal risk that has given us now an opportunity for you know, a pretty solid trade based off of 10 points of risk, right? This is a 3-to-1 with potential for more. Right? Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. And then we'll see how they interact here. But, like, I'm not... Again, like, my job isn't to be able to catch every move. It's just to understand where the best opportunity is within our structure. Does that feel way better than, you know, trying to do anything else? Yeah, right? Like, we've met our seller. I'm now playing into our... all conditions have been met. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, we know there's a guy down here. What am I going to do? Get stopped out with into this low, trying to long this big ass area? No, I'm just closing my short. And then we'll wait for another decision to be made. Right? Like, that just makes the opportunity is way better. If we can hold here, I'd expect ES to then look down for continuation, but we'll see. Watch our edge here. I'm flat. I closed into that low following our plan. Just waiting. I'm watching ES now. See if we get a secondary leg here now that we've looked down. I feel like I can hear Trump talking in this on the stream, but it's not. I don't know, we'll see. It's like from very far away. And again, like they're just getting absorbed into these lows. I don't know what to do about that until we see a very clear flip of it. Dude, I am freezing. Jesus. There's no way that Netflix is gonna be able to get all of this, man. Just like looking at Warner Brothers discography. It's insane, the catalog that they own. Like, how is that not a monopoly? They own Friends, Ocean's 11, all the Ocean series, Evil Dead, Gremlins, Mad Max, The Matrix, DC Comics, Adult Swim, Harry Potter, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, The Sopranos, all of HBO, right? Game of Thrones. Lord of the Rings film rights. Like, that's crazy. No way that goes through. Right? Maybe they just need to slip Donnie a cool couple mil, and then it goes through. Who knows? $30 seconds till 15s. So cold. Have you seen Elon Musk try to manipulate Grok to say what he wants? They have to like lobotomize the model every 2 months because it starts to relearn. Yeah, Elon Musk is already trying to like change the narrative. Every time that it says something that it doesn't like, they like completely lobotomize it and start over. Yeah, it's great. You don't remember Mecha Hitler? That was the first time they lobotomized the model. We're holding POC of previous candle so far. Like this buy from the low is sustaining so far. If this can happen, we should be able to rotate up. At least short term. We'll see what they do. I'm not looking to short 10 to 20 again. With this low holding and POCs holding on previous 15-minute candles on ES and NQ. No reason to look for it right now. Should look for rotations for full rotations, I think.
Hello, hello.
Yo.
You come back and we actually get like rotations. What is this? You're not allowed to be sick.
I mean, this is just what we expected was the rotation, the hold of our lows on that SPY move, right? And then this is just that push back down, and then we'll see if we can sustain. But like, this is kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what we do. We'll see. There's someone trying to take in size down here, but I just don't know if they're going to
PM
persist.
Carney and Mexico's Scheinbaum have a productive talk at the FIFA event, according to the Prime Minister's office.
This stupid FIFA event is going on where Trump's going to get the FIFA Peace Award or whatever.
There is not a more corrupt organization in the world. Maybe other than like the Sinaloa cartel that FIFA. It's like, I think those are probably tied.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, there might be like a couple governments out there pretty close, but I don't know.
Dude, I am shivering. I don't even think it's cold. It's like 75 degrees in my house. I'm freezing. Oh, Lord.
This is the warmest it's been here in like 2 weeks. It's like 20.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say. I think it's like 16 degrees outside. Oh, no. It's 30. Yeah, 30 as well. We're about the same temperatures. Your lows are a bit lower than mine.
Had to shovel already like 6 times this year. I'm gonna shovel every day next week.
That's rough. You gotta do the tarp meta.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You don't know about the tarp meta?
I don't know about the tarp meta. I have too much to cover for the tarp meta.
Okay. I think we rotate up full range, but boys, just like I said, I didn't take the 10 to 20 on this test because we held our lows. So I think we just rotate up into these highs. Full rotation on ES as well. This is just our POCs holding as supportive on that lower candle. That's all this is. This is just a reversion back to our VWAP again. Right? Remember, purple line is our 15-minute VWAP at 35. Coming into it now at 83s on ES. Sell side failure at lows, right? Russell able to push up, back to our offer here. See if we flip off of another absorption and hold in our lows. Just full rotation. See, and this is where it's like, with options, that low and seeing that absorption feels great. In futures, trying to trade that low feels like absolute garbage. There's not much else I can say. It's like I can play off of the smaller risk and play that down into known participants, and then we can play that. But other than that, the only opportunity I saw is the hold of our new 15 into the lows and the recovery of this range for this rotation up. And then we can just expect that we get a full rotation back through this area, right? That's all there is here, is that we can meet our primary seller, push down, failure into our lows equals a rotation, retest of our balance low, and then rotation up to our highs. This is where you take profit. From here, if we can build, amazing. Then you can have a sustained bid. We look for a continuation. But until then, like, this is just us meeting our sellers again. There's nothing here. It's just a failure at our lows with the already identified absorption. I'm personally not looking for anything else on NQ on the buy side until we can build out this area a bit more. This is just where our big old seller is.
PM Carney and Mexico's President Scheinbaum discussed recent bilateral framework. This is Carney's office giving a brief readout of the Carney-Scheinbaum meeting. Carney and Scheinbaum talk looked good ahead of the USMCA negotiations.
Again, every attempt to look over VWAP has met absorption, and then we have rotated down off of it. We can look at our previous attempts. The last two attempts above have resulted in about 20 points of upside, but have been absorbed every attempt so far. So until we can show interest above and a very clear flip, I personally am just waiting it out. Again, this is just a rotation of our already identified range between our two big pivots.
So keep in mind, in 5 minutes time now, at the top of the hour, see the release of the weekly Baker Hughes rig count numbers. Total rigs were a prior of 544, while oil rigs a prior of 407.
What we can look for if a buyer is going to hold, watch this on ES as we push in. This is that value high edge. Same thing here on NQ. We'll watch to see if we can build here. If we can, that would be a great sign that we want to continue higher. If this doesn't hold, then nothing has changed, right? Nothing has changed. So we really want to see a pretty active bid here if we're going to make a higher low and then start to build above into that absorption, and see if we're going to see any sort of shift. Just like we were looking on the short idea of a lower high into this pivot, right? We now are looking for our buyer, secondary buyer, to show up here to show interest at a higher low. See if it can sustain. No confirmation yet, right? We saw a little bit of relief where we wanted, but no follow through yet. No break it down trend. Just a little bid. Wait, they're making a Malcolm in the Middle sequel series on Hulu? That's huge.
Holy. It's the best news I've heard all day.
We are shortly expecting the Baker Hughes rig count numbers for the week.
It's only going to be 4 parts. Hello?
Couple more weeks and we get the new Fallout season.
Oh yeah, I think it's the 15th, right?
17th.
17th?
Kind of like in between shows. Have you watched the new like Critical Role show, The Mighty Nine?
I'm on episode 2, I think, or 3.
Okay, yeah.
I did start
I
it,
think
though.
it's better than the old one. It's quite good.
Yeah, I think they it seems less meta, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is
Yes.
helping them.
I'm surprised they didn't voice act themselves though, that they're just like executive producers on the show.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
It seems confusing to me.
Baker Hughes total rigs 549, which is up 5 rigs from previous.
I can see that group being like, we're not gonna voice act to support the voice acting like
Yeah.
like strikes, but then they're like, but we're gonna hire somebody. And see which ones I get, but it seems silly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe,
Order rigs
hopefully they're paying them well.
413, that's 413.
It's the only thing I can think. So everyone gets a bag.
Yeah.
So we got our bid where we wanted, but offer's still sitting there above. Just building this out. New 15s have opened. Opening below POC on NQ. Little weakness there. ES showing a bit more interest with Russell continuing to push. That only makes sense. I'm hoping NVIDIA is able to do this like 3-bar on the 5 here. If it can, then NQ can get that next leg. But if NVIDIA can't do this 3-bar, might have some issues. Just watching this, hoping that this bid pushes. We'll see. Did you see a judge just ruled that Kalshi is not a gambling company?
No.
Interesting. The entire company is placing bets. Like, so,
Actually, though.
it's interesting. All right, Mario. FIFA trivia is about to start. I have faith in you.
Oh.
This audio is buns.
Yeah, this is a bad stream.
Come on, AP. Oh, that's cool. Brave added split screen like Opera. Love that. Short-term pivot is still holding a supportive. Still feels like it makes the most sense to be playing with this 10 points of risk. Just rotations up into our highs though. This is your first target. We need to see a push above and hold, ideally with NVIDIA pushing and RTY being able to breach these highs. Testing into our top of resistance now, watching to see if we can flip. But again, like it is still just chopping around our two big pivots. Same thing on ES, just following our hold and our hold of our value from this previous range we were trading in. Held it and is rotated up, but we still need to be able to breach over these highs, or this is where they're going to continue to take in. Again, nothing has changed yet of what we've been talking about, which is just a seller willing to absolutely take in size into these highs above VWAP. That's got to shift if we want to go up. or we'll just chop here, with this being our range, right, between our green and yellow box, green and red box here, with yellow being our mid. POC is attempting to shift here on NQ. That's a good first sign, but again, nothing sustainable as of yet. POC shift occurred from our 95 pivot and is now attempting to shift at this 25. Would be great if we could hold there and then rotate up, flipping this, but we're gonna need to see a bit more before we get any proof, right? There's just nothing yet. Mike Lindell has filed the run for Minnesota governor, challenging Tim Walz.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Hell yeah.
I don't think that went through. Oh wait, no. Something happened. I think they voted for it. That they did, but I don't remember what happened. So yes, but I don't think no. Oh no, it did go through. Maybe it just didn't close yet.
Still expecting the Federal Reserve Corporation data. Eight counterparties take $1.485 billion of the Federal Reserve Corporation.
Offer's trying to step here on ES.
Nothing that I've talked about has changed. Seller still absorbing into those highs above VWAP on both ES and NQ. Just back to our mid of our pivot here of our defined range. might be about that time.
Yep.
Yep. Wait. This is so scuffed.
You could wear everywhere.
I am probably heading out of here. I don't know. I think the VWAP flip happens. I don't know why, but I feel it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not I'm just sick of this market only getting big moves on gap up. Sucks.
Yeah.
It's like you just gotta live with the chop all day and then get like a drastic move to try to stop people out, and then it just does the move after hours. Thankfully I held yesterday, but like, I don't know. I just cannot be bothered. I don't know. I think if this can flip and we get through this absorption here, and then you get like a nice POC hold on open of new 15s, you might have something. It's either like this new 15 that opens now in 10 seconds, or it'll be in, I think, the next hour. One of the next couple of them. I'm watching to see what happens here as we push into this. I just don't think it's ready yet. That's the problem. And I don't know if I have the patience to wait an hour. Don't know. Yes, push in. Again, I just want to see this area build out on NQ. Be much more convinced on a build out of this area and then a sustained bid, step in, show that right side of V. I think you're probably better off playing next candle than this candle. I'll be right back. All right. So this is what I think you're gonna want to be looking for is something like this, where we'll have a sustained. We're gonna build out in this area. Pretty sure. And then you're gonna be looking for in the new 15 if this is going to just be absorbed again, right? Or if this is going to offer and then rotate down. I'm hoping that you see some sort of POC shift up here, and then we start to sustain, and then we can bid off of this area, continuing to go up. That's the hope. I want to see some sort of shift with this VWAP going supportive and like us pushing above. I think that it's going to be very hard for you to get this move without NVIDIA being able to breach out of this like box that it's currently trading in. I think it's going to be a bit tough, but the range is pretty clear here. I really just want to see a breach of these highs, and I want to see Russell take out highs as well. I think if we can get above our 30-second opening range on RTY and start to sustain, you're going to be in a pretty good position. It's a very clear pivot. So again, like I think if we can build up above this, you then push for ETH high again, and then you're battling for this upper range that took place up here, right, just into this node. And then that gives you an opportunity on NQ and ES to get some movement because we have all of this room to fill. That's my hope, is that, right, like you see a sustained bid here on this node edge, and we can flag off that and then rotate up. That would be my hope. If this fails here again, right, there's not really going to be much to do until you see VWAP go resistance here again with a node failure, right, into this edge. And then you can look to play this down back into this LVN. Does that make sense? So I think that this kind of determines where we're headed. I just don't think it happens immediately, which is why I said I don't know if I have the patience to wait an hour. Because again, like, this is just the same thing that's happened over and over again so far, which is every look above has been taken in size-wise in this area, and then we close below VWAP, and then we rotate back through, back down to this buyer down here. But if we can start to sustain on this candle, excuse me, I think it puts you in a decent position where, like, if this is supportive here, upside feels pretty likely for at least a rotation up to this band here into 90, into these highs. But I think it's going to take some time to chunk through this. But I like the idea of upside after this low. I just want to see a better secondary buyer step in with like a POC value hold off a previous candle or something like that. That'd be nice. I don't know, those are my thoughts. And I don't know if you get it without Russell and NVIDIA being able to actually do something into these highs. But I like it, yes. I like that we just bid off of our 30-second opening range. I like that we're trying to sustain here at our ETH high. I think that gives you potentially room up into 900, into our PVZ value, if we can move here. Yeah, I don't know. That just kind of makes sense to me if we can hold here at our ETH high. But I'm really not interested in shorts until we can get back into yesterday's value, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So if like previous day value just continues to hold as supportive, like, what are we looking for? Right? But like, if we can hold below previous day value high, then we should be able to rotate through yesterday's value, which would be a return back to our POC to value low where our ADR rests. But I need to see that show of interest below first for that to go down, right? And that coincides with our idea on SPY, which is that we expected this rotation up into these highs, and then we expect a retest and consolidation here now that we filled gap to then look for a push higher. I'm not sure if this is enough of a bid at the lows, or if we're going to need to go lower into this range. That's my biggest, like, I just am not confident on that yet. This isn't really all that crazy of a bid. I think what we can do is, yeah, I mean, like, that's just a hold of value from yesterday. Like, that to me makes sense. I think if that's sustaining, we're in an okay spot for higher time frame upside. And then we should get a nice secondary leg on retest of this val high, of this upper balance. But just expect this to be like our rotation for right now. That's at least my idea. I don't know. That's all I got. But I'm gonna head out.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. It's gonna be me sleeping. Okay. Just make sure everything isn't a total mess. Okay, goodbye.